Good morning, everyone. It's our last class of the school year. Wow, it's happened so fast, right? We don't need much today. We just need a pie plate or a regular plate will do, a paper plate will do. It doesn't have to be round. It just has to be something that will hold a little bit of liquid. You need some whole milk. Whole milk now, not 2% or 1%. If you have them on hand, you can use them. Fat-free milk is not really going to work, but you can use 2% and 1% milk as a comparison. These are real experiments, and repeat with those kinds of milk and see what effect you get. So milk, a dish, the three primary colors, food coloring, yellow, blue, and red, a Q-tip or two, and Dawn dishwashing detergent. And that's it. Oh, and a piece of white paper. You have it. The best paper is actually construction paper, but even I don't have any of that, so I've just got printer paper. Printer paper has a coating on the top, on each side, so sometimes it's a little bit harder to get that to make some artwork on, but if that's all you've got, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to pour some milk into our dish. Now I'm going to pour just enough. Clearly it depends on how big your container is. I'm not putting very much in there. I'm certainly not filling it. I'm just putting a little bit in the bottom like that, so I don't see the bottom of the dish. Then I'm going to put, and for this I'm going to take the tops off the food coloring before I start. Okay, I'm also going to take the top off the Dawn before I start and have my Q-tip at the ready. Okay, now I'm going to put 1 drop of yellow in my dish. Okay, now in the milk the color does not spread out very much. It stays pretty much in a tiny little circle. That's because the fat content of the milk keeps it fat. The fat molecules form a sort of a skin on top and underneath the milk, and they keep the water pretty much in check. And it's the water that's going to have your food coloring spread out. Here's blue. Now you're making sort of a triangle, but you don't want the colors to touch. Okay, you don't want them to be too far apart either. Blue, yellow, and now finally red to make it sort of a triangle. Okay, the colors are not touching at this point, and the rest of the milk is white. Now I'm going to take my Q-tip, and I'm just going to, without stirring it, you're just going to lower it in the middle of the triangle without touching any of the colors. Lower it down. Don't move it when it's in there. Just hold it there and pick it up. Did anything happen? Nope. Absolutely nothing. That's good. Now I'm going to put a little drop of Dawn on one end of the other end of my Q-tip. And now I'm going to put my Q-tip back with the Dawn on it in the middle of the triangle. Did you see that? All the colors rushed away. They spread out. They pushed underneath the milk and came up on the other side, and they're still twirling around in there. I can see changes still happening. The colors are spreading and moving around. It's pretty spectacular. Oh, now when I take the Q-tip out, even more happens. I'm going to put a little bit more Dawn on, and let's see whether I can get something to happen again. Whoa, yes. What the Dawn is doing is it's moving the fat molecules in the milk around much more than they normally would. It has this special effect on fat and oil, and that's why it's so good for getting oil off dishes or oil off animals. Okay, now I can see the colors have spread to the edge, but they're coming back underneath and swirling up to the surface. As I'm sitting here holding this, I'm watching it. Now you have to be a little bit patient, okay? And don't stir it around. If you stir it around, you won't nearly get those effects, okay? I can see the colors slowly coming up. It's a matter of patience, and then they're moving, opening out, causing all kinds of really cool effects as I'm just watching. See my blues? I have circles opening up. I have some pink coming in there. The yellows and the reds are mixing to make orange. I'm going to get the blues and the yellows are mixing to make green. And eventually the reds and the blues are going to mix and they're going to form purple, those secondary colors. Now, I don't have to keep the Q-tip in there. Once the Dawn is in there, it will keep the colors moving around. I could put something in over here and see whether I get a little bit more activity over here. So you can play around with your Q-tips to get whatever effect you want. If you get a little bit impatient, don't stir it. Just put your Q-tip down close to where you want to have some effects and see whether you can get some more swirling to happen with your colors, okay? The Dawn is really quite effective in getting all those colors to move. If I put it right, into my red, it's causing that to move around. So I have a pretty cool color effect right here. Looks a little bit like that abstract art we made the other day. Lots of form and movement and shapes, but no actual objects in there. Well, I think that looks really cool right now. So I would like to try and capture my piece of art. So I'm going to take a piece of paper and in the same way that we tried to make the art before, I'm going to lay the paper on top of my piece of paper. It's a little bit too big. So I'm going to lay my paper, just drop it down on top of the milk. And I can see the colors coming through the paper right there. Can you see them? It's a little bit hard to see, but I can see them. So if I leave it there for a few minutes, let's see what happens when I pick up my piece of paper. There we have my super art effect. Isn't that spectacular? See that? Now, because I put the paper in there and disturbed the milk, now all those colors are moving around even more. So I'm going to take my second piece of paper and I'm going to lay that down to get a completely different piece of art. Even as I'm putting the paper in, I can see the colors swirling and mixing underneath. The art is changing as I'm making it. That makes for a pretty cool experiment. Here is my second piece of art right now, right there. And now in my bowl alone, I have phenomenal colors. I have oranges and purples and pinks and wonderful colors swirling in there. I can almost make out a face in mine. Looks like I have two eyes and a mouth smiling. What can you make out of yours? Have fun with this. Have a lot of fun. And try the experiment with different kinds of milk and see what works for you. Keep your bowl around. Eventually all the colors will mix up and it will be all one color. But if you keep coming back to it, it will look different again and again. Have fun with this and have a great summer. Bye.